Now I know what you're thinking. GB, there's nothing wrong with Ambarino. It doesn't need to be improved. It's one of the most beautiful states in Red Dead Online. I agree entirely regarding that aspect. Now, you can find beauty in all the other states, even parts of New Austin, as well as Lemoyne, but perhaps the most majestic of all 5 states is, unfortunately, the least ventured, which, of course, is Ambarino. Despite the fact that Ambarino has several watering holes, lakes, and rivers to fish in, as well as hunting grounds filled with wildlife, it is unfortunate that not so many people go up to Ambarino as the other states, mainly because of the fact that hunters and anglers don't have a butcher shop to go sell their fish and their kills to. Now, what I would like to see change regarding Ambarino actually makes sense and would tie in to Red Dead Redemption 2, which is set in 1899. Now, technically, according to Rockstar, Red Dead Online is set several years before the events of Red Dead Redemption 2, either 1897, 1896, somewhere in that ballpark. The Wapedia Indian Reservation obviously exists up in Ambarino in Red Dead Online. The big difference is, where are the Native Americans that are part of the Wapiti tribe? Where are the teepees? This is an easy solution that could also include a butcher, a doctor, or a medicine man, for example, a store, as well as the post office in Wapiti for us to venture to with our fish, with our carcasses, our pelts, in order to sell to the Native American tribe in the Wapedia Indian Reservation. And I think that it would also be fantastic if they added some stranger missions up in Wapiti, which would include Rains Fall, as well as Eagle Flies, Peta, maybe even Captain Monroe. So right there, automatically, you could bring life to the Wapiti Indian Reservation, as well as a Native American butcher, a medicine man to sell your plants and herbs to, a store to purchase the various items, ammunition, and of course a post office, or maybe one of the buildings could serve as a post office, or just a smaller variation, not as big as some of the other post offices throughout Red Dead Online, but you get the idea. Now, Coulter, on the other hand, is an abandoned mining town. By the time of 1899, at the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2, it's obviously abandoned. But what if a few years earlier, it still had 2 or 3 people living there, struggling to keep Coulter alive, holding out hope that there was going to be some sort of new mine found that was going to bring more people back to Coulter and make it booming again. Similar to how you could see Tumbleweed, because its future is a ghost town in Red Dead Redemption 1. But right now, in Red Dead Online, it's thriving. Same thing could be said for Coulter to a lesser extent. At the very least, along with the fast travel post, which, by the way, is in Wapiti as well as Coulter, so you can already fast travel to these locations, I would at the very least like to see in Coulter a butcher in that same location that Pearson is in at the beginning of the game. Now, as for a potential store or post office in Coulter, there's obviously a few buildings in Coulter that Rockstar could repurpose to serve both functions, one for a store, the other for a post office. So right then and there, you go from having no butcher shops and no other stores whatsoever in Ambarino to 2 locations where you could find at least a butcher. Maybe that's it for Coulter, but at the very least, at the Wapiti Reservation, I would like to see, once again, a butcher as well as a medicine man, and perhaps even a store and a post office. But it would be awesome if we also got a post office and a store at Coulter as well. And one other thing I would like is more camp locations in Ambarino, because right now, whenever you're trying to, say, move a camp from East Grizzlies to West Grizzlies because you're in the snow, unfortunately, you don't really have the option to move your camp. In other states, there's different regions you can move your camp to, but there's only one region that Crips recognizes in Ambarino. And unfortunately, if you're over in the snow and you already have a camp in Ambarino, maybe over in the East Grizzlies, you're not going to be able to move your camp from east to west. So it would be nice if Rockstar broke that up into 2 separate regions so we could have camps in East Grizzlies as well as West Grizzlies. Now, the bonus improvement I'm going to throw out there is never going to happen. Annesburg. It should have been part of Ambarino. It would have made more sense for the state of Ambarino to expand all the way to the east, thus having Annesburg as its main city, whereas right now, there is no main city in Ambarino. And it would also be nice if Annesburg had a butcher shop. At the very least, a butcher shop in Annesburg. Is that too much to ask? Anyways, that's what I think would improve Ambarino. But like I said, it's easily one of the most beautiful states in Red Dead Online. But I would like to see more people go up there hunting and fishing and galloping around. And I think that if there were shops, if there was a butcher shop, if there was a doctor, a medicine man, or a medicine woman, a store, a post office in Wapiti, and at the very least a butcher shop over in Coulter, you would see more players venturing and hunting and fishing up in Ambarino. Which could be a good thing or a bad thing. But that's how I feel Ambarino could be improved in Red Dead Online. What do you think about this topic? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are there other aspects to Ambarino that you think Rockstar could improve? Feel free and chime in below in the comments section.